What's up, resellers? I'm Rebecca, and you're watching Rebecca the Reseller. Thanks for joining me today for another episode of Reseller Life. I am so excited today to have one of my good reseller friends and good internet friends on, Quenby the Grateful Queen. Hey, Quenby, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, I know it's been a while. Thank you for coming back on. I had you on a couple of times way back when for Momversations, and we had a couple things. I've popped into your lives before, so we've been around together, and it's exciting to actually have this kind of conversation to learn a little bit about what it's like in your life, a reseller day in the life. So just to give everyone a little bit of perspective, we'll run through real quick just some like reseller deets so that we know like what's your status on everything, and then we'll talk about your day. So your reseller status is full-time, part-time, it's complicated.
Part-time, it's complicated, which could be the answer to any question you ask me.
Right?
Yeah, I'm a part-time reseller, and I'm also a psychotherapist. So I've always said I'm a full-time psychotherapist, part-time reseller, but anything that happened in 2020 is like, it depends. It's complicated, right?
Right. And you do that from home, your psychotherapy. So they can kind of be fluid with each other a little bit, it seems, right?
Yeah, I also, not this year with the pandemic, but I also worked in the schools with some elementary school kids a couple days a week. So it's mostly home-based, but it changed a lot because schools are closed here.
Right. Okay. And how long have you been reselling?
I started almost 10 years ago on eBay. And I was only on eBay until, gosh, I think I've been on Poshmark now 3 years, maybe 2.5, 3.
Poshversary coming up?
I don't know. I better check. That's probably in my stats somewhere.
Mine's in June. It's going to be 5 years this year. So.
Oh, so you got a good jump start on the Posh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it started in 2012, so I feel like I came late to the game in 2016. But yeah, it's coming up on 5 years. So I mean, it's pretty much always going to be reselling and Geo's age are going to always be the same. That way
me too.
I can always remember. As long as I know how old Geo is, I'm fine. And what platforms, you kind of mentioned, but what platforms do you sell on?
eBay and Posh, and it used to be primarily eBay, and Posh was like a little side hustle to my side hustle. But this year, I've had more time. I've been really trying to grow that. I'm trying to get all my 1,000 plus items from eBay over to Posh.
Okay, gotcha.
That's been a goal so that they're both kind of equal platforms. But I'm really kind of an eBay girl because that's where I started and that's where I've made most of my money.
Yeah, and I'm like the opposite.
Yeah, most people I talk to are.
Yeah, we could talk about that because I think it's interesting when you're trying to go get everything from one to the other. So we could talk about that. And are you solo or do you have any helpers of any kind?
I am solo. However, I did hire a virtual assistant through Upwork.
Oh, great.
Who builds my helps build like my skeletal listing for eBay.
Okay.
But like she's like in another country in the ethers somewhere. So I don't feel like I have an employee or anything like that. It's not that, it's like really minimal.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, that's awesome. I don't know if I knew that. So that's great. I'm excited to hear more about that.
Yeah.
And then social media status. So you're on where?
I am on YouTube as the Grateful Queen and Instagram. And that's really it. What are the other platforms? Like I can't get into Clubhouse, the new hot thing everyone's talking about because I don't have an iPhone. So
I didn't even know.
I get all these invitations and all my YouTube friends are like, you've got to go over there. I'm like, great, fine. I'll do another thing. I'll try it. And then I can't get on because it's at this stage.
I didn't know that. We're filming
this in February 2021. It's only iPhone.
Gotcha.
Users.
Yeah, I'm going to just put my head down and pretend it doesn't exist for as long as possible because I just really don't want it. I
know. That's how I felt. Like, I don't want another thing. Like,
there's just too much. I mean, we'll see. I'm going to give it the tester. I'm never the first one on the bandwagon. I always like to wait and see what happens. So we'll see if it lasts. And then maybe I'll decide. Okay. So, and family status, married, kids. So that way we kind of know all of the things that bleed in.
I have a 9-year-old son, Torvald, and I'm divorced, which is so weird that you're asking me this question. this is the first time. No, I'm fine. We're not going to turn this into like therapy hour.
I'm like, I knew all that.
Well, it's just funny because I've never had to say it like that before. So I've been, anyone who's ever been through a divorce, one of the hardest things you can imagine going through, I'm like, it takes so long.
Yeah.
And it was going on for years, but I officially just got divorced last year and no one's ever asked it to me like that. Like, are you married? And I'm like, I have to say out loud, I'm divorced. I haven't had to do that.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. It's real.
I mean, because I knew it, so I obviously heard it, but maybe I heard it from you, us talking, and not you saying it on the channel or something.
Yeah.
So
like I've never had to say married, single, or divorced. I'm like, oh.
Or also it's complicated.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm always curious because there's so much that does, affect your reselling business and why it's so individual. And when people kind of like to place you on the spectrum of reselling business, of where do you fall? If you're single, guess what? You should be, like this. But then if you're part-time, now you're over here. So I think
Totally.
it is like a spectrum of resellingism or whatever.
Right. It totally makes sense. And a lot of people have like help, like their partners really, like you're married with, but does your husband have anything to do with your business?
He carries things from time to time.
You mean like he'll carry stuff to the car
like
for
if
you?
I need him to carry it to most of the time I'm doing it myself, and then he's like, why didn't you ask me? And I'm like, because when I ask, you don't get around to it. So,
right. No, yeah, but a lot of people have like a little assistant in their partner.
Yeah, no. He's in like new home sales, and so it's always somewhat of a volatile, thing. And so we always know that he could come and help me if he was ever in between positions, and that we could then decide if that's something that we'd want to do. But as far as like me having a business, we're both very alpha, and it's probably for the best that we go on parallel paths than commingle. So,
yeah, totally.
So it's bad because I said, if you ever did come help with the business, God forbid something ever happened, like, you'd be working for me, right? Like, it wouldn't be an equal thing. I'm like, you'd be working for me. That's how it goes. I'm like, because it's my business. Oh, I'm so bad.
You're so bad.
We're so bad.
You'd have to open I'm thinking of what's popping into my mind now is all the reselling couples I know.
Yeah,
there's a lot, and people do it differently. Like some people, they're both resellers, but they have their own store, their own closet, their own business.
Right.
Because that's like, if you and your husband did it, it sounds like it would need to be like that.
And
way. Some people, it's all just meshed. It's all one business.
Right.
So
I think too, if you're good at deciding who can do what and splitting up duties, I could see how that potentially could work. Cause then you're like equal, we just do different things.
Yeah.
But, I think in the beginning, he likes more mindless tasks where he can just put on his music and just kind of chill out. He's more calm, and I'm more like, I want to get in there and like focus on something, like solve a problem. And so so he'd be like the shipper.
Right. You're the shipping department. Stay over there. No, I'd be the same way.
Gio's becoming promising. I will tell you what, as a photographer and as a little box maker, he's really starting to show his skills. So we'll see what happens. It may be a family business after all. Enough about me. And so your business location, are you all at home? Do you have a storage unit? Do you have a warehouse? Do you have other?
I'm all at home. I'm all at home. I've got a garage. So it's like I'm so envious of people. Like, I think you have one, like you're inside in like a reselling room.
I have a reselling room. I'm in the reselling room, but I don't really keep that much here. Only a few bins right now. And then some is in the garage, but summer's coming. So I think I'm going to have to get back to my storage unit. I gave it up during the pandemic. And I think now that it's going to start getting hotter here in Orlando, Florida, it's time to, start getting cracking. I think I'm gonna have to go on a waiting list. See what happens. But so you're all at home.
I'm all at home.
And so you said you had about 1,000 plus listings.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to give people an idea of space and, just kind of where you're coming from with your business. So let's start talking about the day a little bit. Now that we kind of have an idea. So, walk us through, you're a little bit later you're earlier than I am. I'm East Coast. You're Mountain or West?
I'm in California. West. So I am West Coast. I'm in Northern California. I'm about an hour north of San Francisco.
So you've only been up for a little bit. So what have you been doing?
Getting ready to talk with you. My whole morning was like, how can I get ready to talk to Rebecca?
How's it start off?
Okay, so I should start by saying that I'm like totally a list girl. Like not everybody is. I love lists. Like lists like rule my day. Like and I'm also at the age, I'm 44 years old. I have a lot going on. I have several businesses. I have a son who's home all the time because he's distance learning in California. School's never open, so I have no childcare. So if I don't write stuff down on a list, it's like it didn't even happen.
If it's
Nothing
not on
exists.
a list, it doesn't exist.
That's what I try and say. People will be barking, hey, should we do that? I'm like, yeah, you know what? I got to go write it down. Or I'll say, text it to me. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. So I make a list, and I have like lots of lists. I have like a full, like a hardcover journal book that's like my big ideas, not imminent stuff, but like goals and all that. And then I have like a kind of a notebook with the things I really need to get done. And then each day I look at the notebook and I'm like, okay, I do what I call triage.
What must happen?
Yes.
Love that.
I said it the other day on one of my lives, my YouTube live on Friday night, and someone's like, oh my God, you sound like a medical worker or something. We used to use that word in nursing. And I'm like, oh my God, it's from being a psychotherapist where I'd have all these calls or like a crisis in the schools, and I had to triage. I had to say, what is the most important thing that has to get done, and it has to get done first.
Yes.
So I sit with my little list and I'm like, okay, I put number, like these are the things that absolutely have to get done, and those go at the top.
Yeah. That's, and that's a good, not to interrupt, but that's, I think, a great point of people that perhaps have had to do a lot of prioritization in, you know, a prior job and kind of have that skill, because with reselling, you can get kind of stuck in the muck and mire of like all the things that having the ability to like prioritize like that, I think is actually more of a skill that people don't even realize they do or don't have. It's interesting.
That's a really good point. I like the way you said that. Right. It is like a skill set. It's like, okay, listen. And it takes discipline, because of course we all just want to run to the thrift store. Most of us, maybe not you, because you don't love the shopping part as much as other people, if I remember right.
You know, I don't mind it, but these days I'm doing as much coming to the house as possible so that I can just save time, you know.
Yeah,
and
I'm like 99% online.
Yeah,
99% everything coming to my door.
And yeah,
we'll talk more about that. Anyway, so you're right. It's kind of a skill. And here's the other little trick that I need to use on myself. I need to get the stuff I don't want to really do out of the way first.
Right.
Like the stuff that I'm like, this has to get done, but I'm not going to enjoy it. I do it first. Like if there's some call I have to make and it's like, oh, I got to call eBay and ask them about this charge. You know, you're going to be on hold, or like something I kind of have to do, but it's not my favorite part. Right. I try and get that stuff out first thing. Do you do that?
I think I do more of things that are like, in this moment now, what's going on? What is the right thing to be doing for this pocket of time? Because I'm still in stay-at-home mom with the little squirt mindset. Like he is going to in-person school now. I have 5 full days. It's the most glorious thing I ever imagined. 6 hours, like normal school, because he was supposed to be VPK in August. It didn't happen. So now they made like a smash course. So he's on the accelerated track, clearly. And they're smashing
he is pretty smart.
Dude, no, I'm kidding. They just like made everything from August till now start in January. So he's going the full day, 5 days a week, just like it would be kindergarten, which he'll do, you know, next year. So I didn't think I was ever going to have this time until kindergarten, but here it is. And what a wonderful gift it is, especially coming off of 24/7, you know, Rebecca and Gio show, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of, yeah.
I'm still getting used to what this period now will look like, but I'm smushing in as much as I possibly can. So I look at
I'm like that too.
Am I kid free? Am I not? Am I in the reseller room? What needs to be done here? What requires my brain power? Do it early in the day. If it's just like I have to hang stuff up on the rack to do listing, but that's something I can do at 8 or 9 o'clock at night when I don't have any brains left. I can put on a YouTube video, hang everything up, and it's like relaxing time. Whereas now earlier in the day, I'm trying to like think.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes total sense. See, I love that everybody's got to figure out what works for them. Like, and I love hearing how other people do it. That's why I think the show you're doing is going to be so great.
I hope so. I think it's cool.
Because then I'll be like, oh, wait, Rebecca was saying she uses her brain power in the morning, because some people, they are dead in the morning, they're afternoon. So you have to figure out what works for you. It's your business, it's your schedule, it's your time. But what works for me personally is to, you know, triage what has to be done and what's the most important stuff, knock it out of the way. And for me, in terms of reselling, because I have other stuff that I do, but like reselling, it's listing.
Okay.
Get the listings done. My goal as a part-timer is 5 to 10 a day.
Okay.
And it's usually more like 5 a day, if I'm honest, but my goal is 5 to 10 a day.
And is that like non-negotiable, like no matter what, I will get up 5 every single day? Or is it what
I don't think anything in my life is quite that non-negotiable. That's like what I plan to do.
And it's like, that's a priority. Kick these days. I've been asking everybody about, is it non-negotiable? Like, do you do it actually every time?
Well, I mean, that's like, what in life is non-negotiable?
That's
true.
Get into
like an existential conversation. Like in my mind, it kind of is like, you have to list before, but if someone was hurt or if something happened, it's not going to happen. But that's on my list every single day, right at the top, get your listings done.
Okay.
Because what I prefer to do is fool around with my new YouTube camera and edit videos, because that's what's fun for me. And that's like I love recording videos. I'm doing a ton of unboxings now because the thrift stores haven't been open. So it's like, how fun is it to open a ThredUp box? That's what I want to do all the time. But that's not what brings in the money. That's not what pays my bills. Like what pays my bills is selling stuff.
Yes.
And I'm talking about, I have another job as a psychotherapist. That's what really pays the bills. But if we're focusing here on reselling, in my reselling business, I have to do what makes me money, which is listing and selling and shipping.
Yes.
You know, YouTube is kind of like fun for me and a little side hustle, but you know, and Instagram, super fun to get on there and look at everyone's post and make a fun posing picture and post it up. But that doesn't make me, like, that's not what runs my business. So so for me, the listing thing is like, get that done.
So like you wake up, you have your coffee. Is listing literally the first thing that you do in a day after you do your triage? Or is it that you have to do your psychotherapy things perhaps first and then you ease into your reselling? Because I think for people that perhaps do have a work from home job, they're wondering maybe how to balance it. And since yours is another thing that you get to work from home primarily, how do you meld those two?
So okay, like literally I wake up and
I want to know the nitty gritty.
Okay, all right, I'll do it. I love it. So, and again, it depends whether Torvald's here or not, because his dad has him half the time, but like at least 3 days a week he's here. And when he's here, we wake up, I set him up on his computer at the dining room table, everything he needs to get his school going. And then I put my computer next to him. And the first thing I do is check all my different emails and platforms and what has to be done. My first like 30 minutes is like, let's check in with the computer and like, what did I sell? Okay, this is what I sold. Any customer questions? Any emails I have to respond to? So I get like a thing. And then I make my list. Listing almost always goes right at the top because that's the most important thing for my reselling business. And so I put listing and shipping, because shipping I do every day. Those go at the top. And then if there's some other thing like edit YouTube video, go on Zoom with Rebecca, you know, that stuff comes down. But I kind of set the day up. And then he's doing school next to me and I'm essentially his teacher because he's 9 years old in 4th grade, wiggly little boy. Like if I'm not on him, he's like hanging off the chair and, you know, so I'm kind of like divided. And then I sit and do the listings because that's something I can do mindlessly while he's right there. Bust the listings out, get the listings out first. That's just kind of my strategy. Then I know I have to ship because those are things that have to happen every day.
And are you trying to meet like a post office pickup? They come at a certain time to your house and pick up, or do you take them at a certain time to the
I do both. My USPS here is just not reliable for pickup. So I can schedule a pickup and some days they come and some days they don't.
It's crazy.
So I know it's like,
what happened to sleet or rain and horses and, you know, whatever the saying is that they come every day.
They don't come. They don't. I'm so appreciative of the postal workers, and I love that they're doing an amazing job given all their challenges. So I don't sweat it. I'm just like, okay, if they didn't come tomorrow morning, I'm driving to the post office. I usually get out.
How far is it for you to go?
Like the closest post office, probably like an 8-minute drive.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, mine's like 20 minutes.
20 minutes to go to the post office, so they better come.
Post them all. Like, people don't need post office around here. So yeah, I mean, it takes a long time to get somewhere, to get to the post office.
Wow.
I have to pay tolls to get there. Like,
oh my gosh.
Thank God my postal worker is so great. I had this on Instagram today and people were like, I didn't get to finish the comments, but they were saying, oh, I can't, same like you. It's not reliable. I can't put my package. I'm like, we're on a first name basis. Gio tells her how much he loves her. I know when it's not her. I know when it's her substitute person. Like, it's a whole thing, you know?
That's another really good tip for your viewers. I think a huge part of the reselling game is building relationships. Mm-hmm. And you build a relationship with your postal worker, they're probably going to show up, or they're going to check when they drive by. Does she have packages? I mean, that helps your business.
She knows how many resellers are on her route because she says, you know, she knows who has all the packages. She said, she has 15 resellers on her route, just her route here in Orlando, in my little neck of the woods. There are 15 people that send out packages in mass like I do. I was floored when she told me that yesterday. I was like, what?
You could have a little reseller community right there in your neighborhood.
I knew that there were some because some of them were in the storage unit next to me. There was a sneaker guy that was 2 doors down and we would talk a little bit and stuff. And his thing was floor to ceiling, like orange Nike boxes or whatever color.
Wow.
Adidas, I don't know, whatever. But there were orange boxes like everywhere. I just couldn't wait for the day that like they all just came down. I'd have to go dig them out. Because they were just like all the way high up. He didn't have any shelves, nothing. He's just the guy that threw them all in storage.
I love it. Oh my God.
There's a lot around here. Yes. So anyway, so if you have to go, so when you go to the post office, are you trying to meet a certain deadline? Like you go at a certain point in the day or just before they close?
Before they close. And it's like, I tack it on to like, if I'm going out for something else. It's rare. It does happen, but it's rare that I say I'm driving just to the post office. Like,
right.
No, most of my stuff goes priority, and it's like the person's going to get it in a couple days. My goal is to ship every day, but I don't promise that. On eBay settings, I just put 2 business days. On Poshmark, they don't require you to send it immediately. So I ship almost every single day. Sometimes it's the next day, and I don't sweat it. And that's why I set up my policy on eBay that I don't say same day or one business day. I give myself that window just in case. Now, almost every customer says, I can't believe how fast it got here. So I think I'm doing pretty good. I mean, my system's working. I must be getting it out quickly enough.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have that added pressure. I have enough on my plate. You know, when you're reselling, I think you have to figure out what works for you and your business and what's going to keep you from going crazy. Like if you tell customers you're going out every day shipping, it's like, that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. What if you can't get there? You're going to be all stressed out.
Right.
Just do next day or...
But at the same time, it depends on who is doing it as a part-time thing where there are other priorities and for who it is their full-time gig. And so they are making it a priority because that is their profession at this point.
Right.
You know? And I claim in my Poshmark, I put professional seller, ship same next day. There's a lot of other things that I have a graphic and then I actually write a line so that people know what to expect and can have confidence in buying from me, because I've purchased lots of stuff on Poshmark and they don't say one way or the other, and you're like, you're ever gonna ship that item, or
you mean you email
the item?
You email people when you ship? Do you personally email them and say your item shipped? Oh no.
Well, Poshmark will do that when you mark it as shipped, and now they have that handy dandy bulk thing. Oh man, is that awesome, to just do one click, because I hated clicking all those 3 buttons and I never would. So I would just wait. I knew that when she picked up my packages, she would scan them in. And so I knew that day they would register. So I never would click the buttons because I knew that they would start tracking immediately. I have heard that other people say that when someone does pick up, they don't start tracking for a period of time. And I guess if they are an eBay seller, that would be an issue. But she knew when I was on eBay that they did need to get scanned in. I tried to do the scan sheet for her when I could, but it didn't always work out. But that she knew to scan them in for me right away. So yeah.
Yeah, mine sometimes gets scanned right away. Sometimes it's like the next day, but it's like, that's the post office. I don't know. And I think you make a good point. If I was relying only on reselling income, would I feel more of a pressure to ship every single day? I don't know. I still think at the end of the day, you have to decide what type of person you are, what type of reseller, what type of business you can have. There are a lot of people doing this work because they have kids at home, or they have an illness or a disability or whatever reason. And it's like, you have to also think of your quality of life and what's going to work for you. Right. And that's what works for me. And am I making less sales because someone says, oh, she's not going to ship tomorrow? No. I don't know. I'm selling clothing. I don't think so. I just try not to sweat it. I choose like, what areas am I going to like, that's so important to me, I have to work on, and what areas can I be like, whatever, it's 2-day shipping.
Right. No, I totally agree. So you get your listing done, your shipping done, then what happens?
I do. Then I decide what kind of day it is. So I work kind of in, like, it depends. Sometimes it's Torvald heavy day, but then I have a list of things that need to get done like everybody else. Like I need to photograph, I need to edit a YouTube video. Like once the listing and shipping that has to happen every day is done, then it's like, what do I need to do? And I'm more of a batch person. So what I mean by that is like, I do photos on one day. Like, so it'll be a photo day. And so so if I have to do photos, that might be the thing I'm doing that day. And I'm going to spend a few hours photographing. Some people, oh, you're giving me a look. You're giving me a look like you absolutely hate my.
I'm on the opposite side of my desk. My legs are getting all cramped up. I'm like all discombobulated over here. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were like, I could never do that.
No, I was
shifting. The photo.
I was shifting.
Anyway, like I do. So I'll have a photo day, like let's say. And so that day I'm taking photos, and I'll just take as many as I can be in my little garage area with my lights and my one wall painted white, because that's where I take my photos. And I do like all tops on one day or all pants. Which I know a lot of people don't do, but
I think that's great. I don't know if I was batch doing all my photos for the week, if I'd have like 30 tops ready to go to like jam all of those out. But I have my pants and my, top hangers, and I will shift them. So like today was a shorts and pants day. I already did those. Those are done. And then I'll do tops and dresses sometimes together. So I just like sorted on here, but I only do 10 a day right now anyway. So I do it every day.
So you do like, I'm going to photograph 10 and then list them in one day. So you just do the whole thing in one day.
I'll do, when I wake up in the morning, I'll do my 10 listings for the day, just like you. I get them done, but they were drafted. So I'll do the actual listing activating part in the morning. Then in the day, I'll come and photograph the next set. They'll be photographed. Then when I sit down later and I'm just watching TV, I'll set up the drafts in my phone so that they're ready for the next day to list. Because again, I'm using brain power. So brain power in the morning, list first. Photos don't require any brain power. That's later on in the day. You can kind of squeeze it wherever. And then making drafts is even less brain power. So that can be when I'm watching TV, or actually these days it's in the car line. Waiting to pick up Geo, I just sit there and I make my drafts.
You do it all on your phone too. You do all the drafts on your phone.
For Poshmark, I do. Now, when I start back up with eBay and Mercari, which will probably be mid this year, I'll put on my big girl pants and, get down on one knee and propose back to eBay. Because we were divorced for a while, but so I'll probably be Vendu and all of that kind of stuff, and it'll probably end up being more on my computer. But for right now, keeping things simple, you can't beat doing Poshmark drafts, man.
I know, Poshmark is so easy. It's like, it's incredibly easy to list on there. So I remember back in the days when I first started, I did everything on my phone for years. I mean, it was like, and then I upgraded to a tablet, and I was like, ooh, a little and then I did it for years. So it's like, that's what works. And the great thing about doing it that way, you've got your phone on you most of the time. So if you're waiting in line, or you're like, you can do something on your phone. It's kind of genius.
That used to be one of my big tips for like moms that had little babies or whatever. I used to call it sneaky listing, and now I don't really have to do it, but that's how I was able to get listings up as a mom with a toddler. When you put Geo in the car seat, sit in the driver's seat, put up a listing, then pull out. Because at that moment in time, he's in the car seat. So he can't do anything wrong. Like I could sit and then we'd pull in at the grocery store, get up another listing, take him out and go do grocery shopping. And it was sneaky. Like anytime I could sneak in a listing, I would. And by the end of the day, 10 were done or 5 were done. And I didn't have to take time away from him. I just snuck it in here and there. And that's what got me through, you know, that period of time with him. So I always recommend sneaky listing, but now, you know, we don't have to do that as much with, you know.
I appreciate that about you, Rebecca. Like, I think you are so clever. Like, when I come over to watch your videos, it's like you're always thinking and coming up with systems, and like, that is a real strength you have. I think you could be like in some, what?
I said, or a sickness, you could probably diagnose me with something.
No, I mean, I just think you're always thinking and coming up with stuff. You'd be a great like manager, or like, you know, just the ability to think and come up with strategies and systems that work. I mean, and you're often changing things like, oh, now I'm doing this with my business. And I just like that you're doing that. Where a lot of us just kind of slowly move along with our little, plug away with our little thing. You have a lot of vision.
You know, that's what I tell my husband.
It's my vision, hon.
We just talked about it. I said, you know, I am the visionary of this family. I said, you are like the workhorse, okay? And you do the things, and you fix the refrigerator, and like, you know, pressure wash the patio, and thank God for that. But I am the visionary.
Yeah. And that's what a compliment to have that, you know, because you need both.
Sometimes, no, I agree. But I do think that, you know, changing course too many times can, you know, perhaps I would have been farther along had I just stuck to, you know, whatever. Maybe I'd make more money as a reseller if I wasn't farting around on YouTube half the time and making my little Etsy shop products.
Yeah, I know.
But you have to do, like you say, and you're really good of saying things like, you have to do what makes you happy. And what, you know, for me, I am not fulfilled by reselling. It's never been a secret. I say it on my channel all the time. I don't particularly even really like it that much, but I do it because it's a way to have my own business, and I enjoy that. And then having YouTube is my connection to talk with people like you and enjoy this camaraderie right now. Feels so good. Like, I've never met you in real life, but like, we've talked several times now, and it's like, yay, you know, I'm just chit chatting with Quemby. And then the Etsy products are cool because, or the course or whatever, because it was an idea that I was able to put out there that I felt it would help somebody. And then when they buy it, it validates that they also find it helpful too. And that is very meaningful to me.
Right.
So, you know, whatever.
That makes a lot of sense. I could see as you grow, you doing more like consulting and coaching and things like that. You'd be really good at that. You probably already are doing some of that, but
I have one lady now that's regular, and then I've done, you know, several one-off ones. I just call them reseller chats because I feel kind of weird about coaching, calling it coaching or consulting, because, you know, one might look at me and be like, you're not even that successful of a reseller. You have all these little businesses. You only make $900 a week in reselling. Why would I need advice from you or pay you on top of that? So I just call it reseller chats, where on a particular topic, I may have advice to offer you, or I can be a sounding board for you, but I'm not, I don't feel like I know everything to coach you along the way, but I do feel like I'm here for a chat. And
but you do know so much. I think you might be minimizing a little bit. Like, you know a lot. You think you have a lot of experience in these last few years of reselling. And there are some people that don't know how to do what you do. So they want to talk with you about what you know how to do. Like, you know how to sell on Poshmark, and they don't really. They're not having any success. They're making $100 a week, and they'd like to make 3.
And that's I forget about new people sometimes and where they're starting, because it has been so long. And that's why when we were talking earlier about, you know, YouTube, and, you know, I've always said to people, there's room for everyone on YouTube, because we all have a different voice, and what occurs naturally to me will never cross your mind, and vice versa. And that's why chats like this, you know, when you are going to continue talking about your day, is going to make an unlock for someone that's going to completely change how they do things. And it's only because of these, you know, exchanges of information and talent and whatever that, you know, it makes it all go around, and makes it, you know, less lonely and all that stuff, of course. But yes. So, okay. So we've done photographs now. Now, do you
we've done my list. We got my list. All right. We're going through the day. I love that you're keeping us on track.
No, we'll be okay. So, but do you do photographs on a certain day? Like, are you a person that says on Mondays I photograph?
No,
Yeah.
it has to be a little more organic because
Fluid.
you know how life is, it's like life is always, I have some ideas on my list of, like I know I'm due for some photos. So I'm thinking, am I going to do it today or am I going to do it tomorrow? I know it's coming, but I'll be like, okay, triage the list. This is what has to happen. Okay, I do have an extra couple hours. I'm taking photos today.
Okay.
And then I send them off to the VA and she builds like a very skeletal outline and I just go in there and edit it and
But
send it off.
it takes some work off your plate because it does take time to get those photos in there and, fill out some basic stuff or whatever, business policies and all those kinds of things. So that does take some time off, and then you can just go in the stuff that only you can do. So
exactly. I had to do it when I started YouTube because it was like there's YouTube. For those of you who don't know, YouTube is like another part-time job. I mean, I put in almost as much hours. I enjoy doing it. I love it, but it's like I do at least two videos a week and a live every Friday.
Yes.
A live. So it's like it's time. And I was like, there's no way I can do YouTube and sell on Poshmark, eBay, and do my therapy practice. Sometimes you have to figure out how to get some help.
Yes.
And the best help that you need, what it is. I think a lot of people feel bad like hiring some help or but everybody that I talk to that's decided to get a VA or hire out sharing for Poshmark or hire a teenager to take pictures for them, they're like, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner. Because now I can do what I can do. There are so many tasks in reselling that really anybody could do.
Right.
I would love to hire someone to fold up my inventory and put it in the little bags and put it in the, oh my God, I wish I could find that person because I hate that task.
And it depends on what you like to do and how you fit in. Like some people like to do the photographs because they do put on their podcasts and they just kind of jam, just whatever, but they hate the listing versus, where for me, I didn't mind having my VA do the listing. She did a pretty good job. I mean, I had to fix things from time to time and she was overseas as well. So there were a couple, like, what did you call that again? I don't know what that is.
She does so many little things wrong, but it's still faster than me sitting down, uploading the pictures and filling in every box.
Yes.
I mean, it's a help and it's not expensive and I think it's worth it.
So worth it. So then she'll build the listings for you. And then every day you're going in and just getting those ones, going, fixing them up. Okay. Because you had already done. So then when you're not actually doing active thrifting out in the wild because you're pretty much getting everything coming to you. So
since the pandemic, that was a huge change so everybody, it's different depending on where you live. I'm in Northern California. We've been hit really hard in Sonoma County where I live. Things have been closed down. Then when they open up, it's like, you get your temperature taken, you wear your mask. They only let a certain number of people in the stores. And I'm like, this is not working. So in this year, I've really learned a new skill, which is how to order online. I get 99.9% of my stuff right to my door now. And so now I know even when a lot of these things lift, when the vaccine rolls out and I'm probably still going to order the majority online. I love thrifting. That's one of the reasons I got into this. I actually really enjoy it. It's my idea of a good time. Get a nice coffee, go thrift for a couple hours. Like, I love it. But I cannot beat ThredUp rescue boxes, Jomar wholesale boxes, all the stuff that I'm getting, wholesale stuff from Backstock and other places. It's cheaper cost of goods for me because it's very expensive here where I thrift. Thrift stores are so expensive.
That is good to know. That's interesting. Okay. Because for most people, it's a paying up situation, To
order a ThredUp rescue box, like $2.60 an item.
If you're a binge shopper, pretty much anything is paying up. But then depending, some people only go on dollar days at their Goodwill. We don't have those, so that wasn't a thing.
Either.
But a lot of people do, or with savers, I think they have things like that. I mean, I'm just thinking of things that I've heard for some people, to order online, even in a box where it's $2 and $3 a piece. Could be for you don't know what you're getting, because when you go and hand pick it and you decide to pay $3, that's fine. But when you get the box sight unseen for $3 an item or something, I don't know what it is now. I haven't tried to get one in a while, but I think they used to be like $2.60 an item.
If I get the ThredUp women's box, it usually has 25 items. It's $2.60 an item. And so that's a really good point that I need to remember. Yeah, if you're going to the bins, you're probably paying less than $1 an item. So paying $2.60 would be paying up for me because thrift stores are so expensive here. It's like a great deal. So that's one of my limitations as a reseller is I live in an expensive area. Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous when I see people going to like 99-cent day or half off. I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
So I've got to make do with what I get in my area. And sometimes it could be paying more, paying up, but those boxes, when they're good, oh my gosh, you're getting amazing stuff for $260.
That's awesome. It's been a lot. I should order one. It's been a long time since I've done one. I mean, when I started the channel, I was doing those all the time because that was a great, and then they went bad for a while. And so I was like, and then I stopped doing it because I'm like, I can't, this is all from Target. Like,
Yeah.
And I know you said you have, that you do sell some Target thing, but it wasn't even like new with tags Morona. It was
yeah. I know. Yeah, I think it's during.
I can't deal with this. This is no good.
I know, and it might be
too. And so then, I didn't necessarily want to donate it back. So now I had to figure out what can I do with these items that I don't actually want to sell.
Right.
That was challenging.
Yeah, totally. And it might be a limited time offer. I think the boxes have been better than ever during the pandemic because I think everyone's cleaning out their closets. I think ThredUp has more stuff than they know what to do with. And so the boxes have been really good. Because I do remember a couple of years ago getting them and being like, no, not as good as what I could thrift myself. But they've been so amazing this year in 2020. So
I'm going to put it on the list and see. But so now, so you're doing the boxes. Now, are you doing, because I remember we had the whole ThredUp discussion a while back when we did the video about, you were picking like the, what was it Chico's linen pants? You were always like excited about the linen pants. Was it Chico's?
Yeah. J.Jill, Chico's, all those. I'm like, the mature women's brands are my best selling kind of category on eBay.
Yeah. And so we talked about that, but you were picking one at a time things. Are you still doing a lot of that, or are you more?
I'm not doing as well. So what that was on ThredUp's site, you can buy rescue boxes, you can buy on their site. They also have a tab called outlet. Not everybody has the outlet tab. I do. So if you go on the outlet, it's stuff that's marked way down. And if you buy 20 items, you get 40% off. So, it was awesome. But it takes a long time because you have to sit there sorting through all the ThredUp items and choosing the ones. It's time is money. If I'm not spending that an hour on ThredUp, 2 hours filling up my cart, I can just press a rescue box, have it sent right to my house. I can use that time to be listing or doing other stuff I need to do. So I often think about the time. So I've done that, and I've done it on Shop Goodwill online. That's been pretty awesome way to source too, but those are more time consuming.
Well, and that's so it's like every day. Are you kind of going in and seeing what you can find, or is it like I happen to have some time? Let me go shop. How do you kind of work it in?
Yeah, kind of like that, or like because ThredUp boxes. I bought 2 today. I bought 2 shoe boxes. The shoe boxes don't come up on the site as often, and they're really good. And so it's so much easier to just click purchase. I have 30 pairs of shoes coming to my house now, as opposed to sitting and hand selecting items. It takes a long time. So when I have time, or when I kind of feel like shopping, like maybe I'm in bed and I have my computer, I'm like, I'm going to look around Shop Goodwill, do some shopping, then I'll do it. But is it, in terms of it being like, it's not necessarily the best use of time for my business.
Right. You're just kind of scratching the itch sometimes because
you can get good stuff. So it just.
Yeah. I mean, that's me with swap.com. I was doing it on ThredUp, and then I kind of got out of ThredUp for a little while as far as buying. I've never done the Shop Goodwill. I think I tried, got turned off, and didn't, do it. But
I have some videos on that. I just want to say that because, so I have several videos on my channel about how to shop at Shop Goodwill online, just because whenever I put a video out with a haul, everyone's like, how did you do that? I have such a hard time on the site. So there's a bunch of tips. So I share the tips in a video.
I mean, I had tried it before, and then I watched it, and then I just never kind of put the tips into practice, unfortunately. But, because everybody gets into rhythms. But I think it's great that you found a way that works, for you with that. That's the thing. Everybody kind of gravitates towards one thing or the other. For me, it's Swap, like hands down. I mean, it's just crazy to me sometimes what you can get. And
I think I saw you post about that. Like you got a bunch of activewear.
Yes.
Then I went on, I'm like, it seemed expensive.
Well, it depends. So I've done 2 recently really big orders. I try to do like big ones where it's like a lot of one kind of thing, just so that way when it comes, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing for the next like 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just did a big swimwear one where they were all either maternity swimsuits new with tags, or they were all Speedo brand new with tag swimsuits. So I spent like $800 on swimsuits. That's done for the season, because I usually do a big boutique order. And I said, this year I'm going to skip it. I'm going to go with branded, see what I think works better or not. And so I think my buy cost on those on average was about $9 for new with tag swimwear, branded.
What do you think you'll sell them for?
I mean, right now I have them up like for $60, $75.
Oh.
Like I have them high right now because I just kind of want to see. I also run really aggressive sales. So, you know, it's not uncommon for me to send 50% offers. So if I price, so if I price like that, I know I'm covered all the way through, and then I can always drop it, whatever, later, because we're still at the beginning of it. But I want it, I mean, I like to have swim, pretty much my season of swim in January and February. I don't wait too much into the season. This is the time now. So swim's up. And then I ordered in December for January athletic wear. So it was Athleta, Lululemon, and that buy cost was $12 per item, but many were new with tags.
I see.
Those things are selling, and they're all selling for profit. I think there's one where I broke even because it was just more like a t-shirt and I should have known better, kind of like I just
yeah.
T-shirt, and that was my fault. But you don't, but I've had buy costs on there where I'm just picking random things that are on clearance for like $4 and $5. And then sometimes I pay up for things. It just depends. Same like with you, probably, you know, in the Goodwill thing. So everybody.
Yeah, because that's a high cost of goods, like $12 an item. But I mean, you're going to make money on it either way. Just maybe it just depends what the profit margin is going to be. And there are certain things I'll pay $12 an item for, but not that many. Like I just got a new with tags Free People box from Jomar, and it was $12, and I was like, oh my God, this is such a high cost of goods. And the only reason I was really willing to do that is because I thought maybe I'd keep most of it.
Right. Oh, well, and you've said that you like it, you like to wear it, you like to sell it, you like to buy. Like for me, that's not. I don't ever really find it here on its own. And anytime I've ever paid up for Free People, it's never been the right thing. So
yeah.
If I find it, it's, you know, it comes to me for $3, fine, but I don't even go there.
yeah. And that's the great thing. It's like each of us is going to be drawn to something different. And so we're going to develop some knowledge in that area. Like you with swimwear. I pick up swimwear if I see it, but I'm not super knowledgeable about it. So it's like, if you have a niche like that where like I know what sells well within the brand of Free People.
Yeah.
You can't just pick up any Free People item, and you can't pay up for any Free People item. So we all start to develop these little niches. And that's what's so great about watching each other's videos and listen to each other's stuff, because it's like, oh, I can start to educate myself a little bit about Swap.com that Rebecca's using, and here's how she's making it work for her. I don't know about that. So so great. There's so much information out there.
I might do a live about paying up. I did a post about it. I said paying up is hard to do. we talked in the comments a little bit about, you know, with other people, but because this was the year that I said I wanted to pay up more. But I think I'm noticing some pitfalls. I'm noticing some challenges. I'm kind of now seeing what happens when you do that. And so I want to explore that more. So I think that might be a live topic, maybe this week, maybe next week. You know, for people to kind of chime in, because some of the comments that I got were really very interesting. One lady was like, paying up for me is until it costs $100 or more. She's like, but this year I'm going to really challenge myself to pay up to $250 or $500. I was like, what are you
selling, lady?
The world is going to come crashing down. $500. Like, what are you saying?
I'm trying to think, like, what's the thing I paid up the most for? Like $20? Like,
I know I mean, literally, like, my heart was like, I'm like, what are you even saying on my channel right now?
Yeah. Well, some people sell designer, and it's
I mean, and that's not my, you know, that's not my world. I'm a Speedo and Chico's kind of girl. But so let's finish out your day, because I want to be mindful of your time and those that are watching. So, you know, you maybe perhaps sourced a little, maybe perhaps you photographed a little bit. Either way, you definitely listed, you definitely shipped. Is there anything else that definitely happens in your day every day versus when it needs to happen based on the triage? That might be a good.
Not really. I mean, like listing, shipping,
Those are it.
Those are the thing. I'm good if I do those. And then there's all the other tasks. Photographing. I've got boxes sitting here in front of me, Rebecca. That's inventory that needs to be bagged. Folded up, bagged, and put in inventory. Hate it, but the pile's gonna get big enough, so I'm maybe gonna do that. So the other things are kind of moving parts, like the moving parts of the business: sourcing, folding inventory, putting it away, taking photos. Like those are all the moving parts. And the reason I want to have my own business and work from home is that I still get to have a certain quality of life. I've got a family. Like I'm done at 5:30 because that's when we start making dinner. Yeah. And I know some resellers that are making $100,000 a year. They're staying up late. They're in the middle of the night. I'm done at like 5:30.
Right.
I make dinner with my family. We sit and eat together. There's no phones or screen time during that time. Yeah. And then we clean it up. And then I read to my son and I put him to bed. And I'm like, I get to do this because I work from home. And then maybe at night, like if Torvald's gone to bed and it's 8:30 or something, and I want to edit a video and I'm sitting in bed, I'll do that. Right. YouTube is a part of my business for me. So it's something that I do. I'll edit a video. Or maybe there's a morning that I'm recording videos. I try and record like 3 on a day with that batch listing process.
Right.
But I work 7 days a week and I don't mind that. Like I work on Saturday or Sunday in between what's going on with my family. And that's one of the privileges we get when we choose to not have the security of a regularly salaried job and benefited job for someone else.
Right.
I don't want to work so hard that I lose that, because that's the whole point.
Right. No, I completely agree with everything that you're saying. And whether your child is, older or younger, you still need, time with them if you have one. And if you don't, you have maybe your softball league or, going to the gym if you can do that now someplace like, whatever is your hobby, or something like that. So, I mean, it's definitely, I do like working. And for me,
I love working
is my hobby, and I will always pick it over. I mean, I like reading a good book for sure. And so I wish I could read more because I'm always, but I choose to work instead of reading and whatever. But, I definitely see how fulfilling it is and how nice it is to just have the flexibility and get to wake up today and say, I feel like photographing. I don't feel like photographing, like you, where you put it on different days. For me, I like to have just kind of like a baseline, and that's it. Like once I know I've checked that box, it's over, and then I can move on to the other things. But there might be a point where I do the batch photography. I don't know, we'll see. But in the interest of time, because we could chit chat all day, let's go ahead and see if you have any parting thoughts for those that are watching, whether it's about setting up their reseller day or just something that's on your mind that you want to share with everyone today.
You mean like some pithy little piece of...
I don't know. You always have good things to say. You've been saying the whole time. We don't have to just save it till the end, but you've been having some zingers. I've enjoyed your conversation.
I don't know. I mean, one of the things that I often talk about a lot that I don't hear a lot of other people talk about is kind of their overall values for their life being a part of their business. And so, like this year on the live, one of my live reseller nights, we made vision boards. And the resellers came together and we all talked about what our goals are, what our intentions are for our business, whether it's making more money, whether it's having more time, whether it's getting to be retiring. I have a lot of people in my community that are retired and they're reselling. I've got a lot of people with health, physical issues, so they have to work at home, whatever it is. So, we spent an evening together setting our goals and our intentions. And I think one of the most important things about that is you have to know what your why is underneath your goals and intentions for your life, your family, your life, your relationships, your kids, but also your reselling business. Mm-hmm. And so I think if you have a foundation like that and you set it up from the beginning, like this is what reselling is about for me, this is why I do it. These are my values and my purpose underneath it. I think it helps so much in your work. Yeah. And I think when you have that kind of mindset, that positive growth mindset that helps you steer your business and make these decisions, it's just so much more meaningful. It doesn't just become work, something you have to do. It's like, well, what's your why about that? Like, yeah, you want to make money, but very, very few of us are in reselling just because we want to make money. There's usually something deeper underneath. So I just encourage people to kind of take a look at that so that work doesn't have to be like this part of your life that's the hard part or the boring part, or you're just trying to get it done so that you can get on with your real life that's outside of work. It's like, so I encourage people to to take a look at that. Like, what is reselling really about for them? Like, why are they doing it?
Yeah.
And what's the purpose and meaning behind that? And to kind of let that infiltrate their day and their business. So it's not like a trudge through each task. It's like, oh yeah, I get to do this today. This is why I'm doing it. This is what I'm grateful about it. I just think it becomes a more meaningful extension of your life when you can try to look at it that way.
Right. No, I completely agree. I think I liked when you said, you know, have it infiltrate your life, because I do think the one thing that is good for me, because I had to shove it into the pockets of time as a, you know, mom with a little one and things like that, is that it's become very fluid. Like,
Yeah.
dishes in the sink and photographing the items is all kind of the same. Like, it's just life. It's all integrated. And whether I do one thing now or one thing later, it doesn't really, that's just all my life. And I like it all. Well, I will say I don't really like doing the dish. All the domestic things I don't really like doing
I know.
at all, but you know, I can reward myself with working after I've done the dishes or what, you know, but it's all part of just life. It's not like I'm saying this is this and that is that, which I feel like it used to be that way when I did go to a real traditional job or whatever, because it is for me. It's my life and it's my choice that this is what it is. And if one day I say, you know what, reselling isn't the thing, no more Rebecca the reseller, I am going to, you know, sell something else, you know, whatever, and then I'll make a YouTube channel about that. I've now seen how having a YouTube channel and this internet presence feed seamlessly into the initial business too, which is nice.
Yeah. And I think it's especially important for people like us who would probably work all the time if we could. Like, we work, that's what we do. So it's like, you know, it's a privilege to be able to do what we do.
I think
it's a privilege to be able to be at home working, and we work hard. It's not like we are slacking. I work harder for myself than I ever did for anybody else, and I have a pretty good work ethic.
Right.
So just trying to remember that and keeping your mindset in a good place about it.
Yeah, but this year specifically, because it has really weighed on me what is going on out there, and especially for women, you know, not, you know, feminist, whatever, but I am very mindful of the women's experiences, and to know that there are so many women that have had to make a choice to backseat their career, completely set back everything that they've worked for, forego the promotions, get laid off. You know, if I had still been at my job, it was in tourism. Do you think I'd still be there now? Maybe. I mean, I thought I was one of the good ones. Maybe they'd keep me. Maybe the whole department got can't, you know, you don't know. And the choices that women specifically have had to make, that we get to do this and we've been able to keep ourselves safe and our kids is amazing and does not get lost on me. And so much so that, you know, I encourage resellers, even though we kind of get a little like concerned about competition or whatever, but there's a few people locally that have expressed some interest in reselling. And I kind of feel like it's not that it's my duty or whatever, that's too strong of a word, but it would be a nice pay it forward project endeavor to bring people into the fold of reselling, to show them that there is a way to make money as a woman from home with your children, contribute to your family, and perhaps even lead you down a path you never thought existed. And I think about that a lot locally here, because there are people that are struggling and don't even know that there is a way that they could make use of this time being home. So I don't know, those soapbox moment.
No, I love it. I love it. See, that's what brings like meaning and purpose to our lives.
Yeah, if you know someone that can benefit from making money this way, offer the help to them, you know, for people watching, and see if you can, maybe there'll be competition at the thrift store a little bit, but you know, we can all find
I don't worry about that one bit. I can't waste my time on that. There's plenty. People are always like, why did you tell everybody where you got that wholesale box? I'm like, because I don't live in competition like that. Right. We're here to help each other. There's enough for me. There's enough for all of us.
Everyone take that shirt. You can sell all the blazers you want, because I don't like selling blazers. Buy all the blazers and sell them all, but everything else. No. Well, I thank you for those words. I thought this was a great conversation. I know people will have gotten something from it. It'll be different for everyone for sure, but that's the great thing about having these kinds of reseller conversations. So thank you, Quenby. Let everyone know real quick where they can find you. I'll have it linked, but you say it.
Just the Grateful Queen on all platforms, the Grateful Queen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, reseller friend, internet friend. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And for everybody watching at home, go ahead and hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe so we can hang out again. Thank you for joining me, and watch whatever video comes up next. I will see you next time. Bye.